The avoidant person spends their entire relational existence being pursued, chased, and desperately wanted by partners whose anxiety and pursuit validate their sense of control and emotional superiority. This familiar dynamic reinforces their defensive patterns and confirms their belief that maintaining distance grants them power in relationships. However, specific behavioral shifts can completely reverse this dynamic, transforming the avoidant person from the one being chased into the one desperately pursuing. These changes operate on psychological principles that bypass their conscious control and trigger responses rooted in their deepest fears and hidden needs. You disappear completely without explanation. The avoidant person begins pursuing frantically when someone vanishes from their life without drama, explanation, or warning. This silent disappearance differs fundamentally from angry departures or emotional confrontations that they can dismiss or rationalize. The absence of closure or emotional intensity creates a psychological void they cannot fill with their usual defensive narratives. They find themselves unable to categorize the ending or understand what triggered the withdrawal, creating obsessive thoughts and desperate curiosity. This unexplained absence communicates that they have become so irrelevant that their former partner did not consider them worthy of explanation or emotional processing. The silence suggests complete indifference rather than hurt feelings, triggering their competitive instincts and fear of insignificance. They begin pursuing to restore their sense of impact and importance, needing evidence that they still matter to someone who has demonstrated through absolute silence that they no longer occupy any psychological space. You demonstrate visible happiness without them. The avoidant person pursues intensely when they witness someone radiating genuine joy and thriving spectacularly in their absence. This visible flourishing contradicts their unconscious belief that they are essential to others' happiness and well-being. When someone not only survives their absence but actually improves dramatically, it challenges their fundamental understanding of their own significance and the impact of their withdrawal on others. They find themselves drawn to the energy and vitality radiating from someone who embodies the aliveness they cannot generate within themselves. The stark contrast between their internal emptiness and their former partner's obvious fulfillment creates magnetic pull rooted in both desire and competitive instinct. They begin pursuing not just to reclaim lost connection, but to access the happiness and completeness they witness in someone who has genuinely moved forward without looking back. You become genuinely unavailable to them. The avoidant person experiences desperate pursuit when someone they previously had access to becomes authentically unavailable due to their own full and satisfying life. This unavailability must stem from genuine commitments, relationships, and activities that consume time and energy rather than strategic manipulation. When they can no longer assume someone will be waiting whenever they decide to offer attention, their entire psychological framework shifts from comfort to panic. This unavailability triggers their fear of permanent loss and competitive instincts they typically inspire in others. They begin experiencing the anxiety they usually project onto partners, wondering whether they still hold any significance to someone whose world has expanded beyond them. The shift from being someone's priority to being optional in someone's busy life creates unfamiliar urgency and desire to reclaim their former position of importance. You show interest in other potential partners. The avoidant person pursues frantically when they realize someone has opened themselves to other romantic possibilities and is generating interest from quality alternatives. This recognition that they face competition triggers primal possessiveness and fear of replacement they typically suppress. They begin seeing their former partner through new eyes, suddenly recognizing value they dismissed when that person was available and pursuing them. You establish unshakable boundaries and self-respect. The avoidant person chases desperately when confronted with someone who demonstrates unwavering self-respect and refuses to tolerate breadcrumbs or mixed signals.